Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing the English major book tag that was created by, I wrote things down. It was created by Snow White Reader, so I'll leave her channel and her video down below. If you are new here and you haven't heard me talk about it, I am an English major. I'm in my second year of university, and thought that this would be a fun video. With that said, let's get into the questions. Question 1 is romanticism. What's a book you seem to wear rose-colored glasses for? A book that definitely deserves a reread. My brain went to Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. But out of all the books, I would have to say The Lost Hero is definitely one that I hold a lot of. I definitely look at it as though there's like no problem with it. This is actually the first one of his books I read. If you couldn't tell from how beaten up it is, I read and reread it so many times, and I definitely need to reread the Percy Jackson books again. Like, I kind of want to start at the beginning and just work away in chronological order. But yeah, The Lost Hero is especially good. There's like a side note to this, and it's bonus points if you share memory. And this I got at a book fair in elementary school, and I fell in love with it. And I actually was like full ass into it with my best friend, so we both read all the books and we would talk to each other about it and theorize, and it holds a lot of memories. Question 2 is John Mulaney is an English major. What's a book that you felt accurately represents an aspect of your life? I know exactly which one's for this one. But yeah, the book that represents so much is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I related so much for the anxiety wrapped within this book. Like, this book is the one that I felt seen by. And it's just like, to me, this book did what Fangirl tried to do. But that's just my opinion, but I adored this book so much. It was so good. Question 3 is, oh, so you want to teach? Even though English majors are very versatile, the question almost always gets asked. Name a book more in depth than you expected, or a book that surprised you with how many topics it covers. I think I'm going to talk about Six of Crows. I always go into books. My first thought when going into books is to have a good time. That's always been what I look for in a book. I want to have fun, and I really just want to enjoy a story. But the Six of Crows books are like so much more in depth than that. Like, they talk about gambling, and they talk about loss, and there's disability, there's plus size draft, there's like military indoctrination, or like the way that people belief systems and stuff, and it's just kind of like mass genocide and war, and it's just kind of like so much bigger than what it actually seems, and I really adored that. That's one of the things I really adore about this book. Question 4, symbolism. What's a book that represents something you love? My brain is thinking like 2 different areas right now. Like, my brain is thinking of Family Don't End in Blood, edited by Linus Subernis. This is a collection of short stories, a collection of essays about supernatural. from the fans and the actors, and this represents something I love because for me, this kind of like represents the supernatural fandom, which is something I really, really adore and appreciate in my life. But like, my brain is also wanting to go back to the Super Sons comics because they represent everything I love about the DC comics and the Bat family, especially, and I just kind of can't get enough. And I guess that's my answer for this question. Okay. Question 5. Pretentious paradox. Name a book you've read and often bring up in conversation to impress people. I feel like this can also be 2 parts. Like, one is that I read the entirety of the complete Sherlock, complete tales, all of this. I read a complete series of the Sherlock Holmes books. I read like the entire thing. It took me many, many months, but I did do it, and I find that I will continuously talk about it. But another book that I will talk about is A Clash of Kings. This is book 3 in the Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire series. But this one in particular, I read for a book report in grade 11. And so I kind of talk about that a lot because it kind of says a lot about who I am as a human being. Please don't knock over dinners. Oh no, shit down. Okay. Next question. Iambic Pentameter. What is a book that took you a while to get into, but once you understood the concept, you loved it? Okay, Gideon the Ninth. I actually tried twice to read this book, and once I actually got through it, I really enjoyed it. It just took a while to get into it. But I think that definitely is it. It took me a while, and then I got really into it, and that made it really enjoyable for me. Next question. The Art of BS, which is the concept of arguing for the possibility of something to be true. What is a book that you feel like you could debate for eternity? I'm gonna have to say the Shadowhunter books. I feel like I can talk about them for forever, and I've had multiple conversations with my best friend about them and theorizing. Similarly to the Percy Jackson books, but that world in general. I also find that I can talk forever about DC comics, especially those relating around Bat family, like the Batman Gotham problems. Like, I can talk about it in so much detail because little obsessed. But I think those are kind of... I don't tend to just like latch onto a book. I tend to latch onto like a universe, if that makes any sense. Question 8. Your favorite old dead white author. Nothing is perfect as proven by classical literature. What is a book you know hasn't aged well that you either love or hate? The Game of Thrones book, I don't think aged well. Oh, this is gonna come back later in the book, but Leonard Cohen's Beautiful Losers, this did not age well. He, for one, should not have been the one. I understand why it needed to be written, but it should not have been him who wrote this book. And it just did not age well. It just wasn't good. Like, no. it wasn't good at all. We're going to talk about it again later, so I'm not going to go too much in detail. Dark Academia. Who is a book character you love but know in your heart you would not get along with? I feel like several of the members of the Crows and of the Crux and Six of Crows. I know for a fact I would not get along with Cass, probably. There's several that I probably would not care much for, and I would not get along with. I feel like also I love Annabeth, but I might not actually get along with her very well. Because, like, I do enjoy how she's such a bold personality, but I feel like I would have problems with that. Especially since I'm kind of... Like, I love knowledge, but I don't love knowledge in the same way she does. If that makes sense. I'm sure there's other examples, like, Isabel Lightwood. I probably would not get along with her. There's probably others, but anyways, the bonus question: what's your favorite and least favorite book you've read for class? My favorite is Course in Mushrooms by Hirumi Goto. I do not have it with me because I am forcing a friend to read it, but I have talked about it in several books. I talked about it in my favorite books of 2020 video, as well as my quarter 4 part 2 wrap up for 2020, so I can just leave both of those videos linked in the corner, and you can probably gauge more of my thoughts about that book there. But my least favorite I talked briefly about earlier, and that is Beautiful Losers. This is my least favorite book that I've read. It is awful. The main character is basically dying of heroin usage or drugs, and then it's just kind of like very sex focused, and it has like ingenious people, but like it's kind of fetishizing them, and it just felt very wrong how he was just kind of like he viewed this like ingenious woman as being a saint, and that he must fuck a saint and stuff like that, and it's just awful. And the prose in general is not good, I found. And like, I wonder if I could find that page. Look, there'd be pages and with no proper like grammar and stuff, so it's just words. And like there's a page where it's like every word was capitalized, and it's just like perhaps I get Leonard Cohen is a good writer song-wise, but fuck, this was not good. It's very fetishizing, it's very gross, and it's just it was not a good time, and it's just kind of like awful, and I don't recommend it. Just kind of like remove it from your thoughts if you ever considered reading it. But yeah, that is the take. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.